Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anne and I guess I'm back. Am I back or am I not? I wanted this to be my first video back. I don't know why, honestly, why I wanted this to be my first video back after kind of abandoning this channel for a while, but it'll just kind of provide some context and kind of explain where my headspace is with this channel. I don't have a script with me per usual, so I'm just gonna kind of ramble as I go. I just kind of wanted to talk about why I specifically left YouTube. I know I didn't really go too much into detail about it in my very first video on this channel and on the last video of my old channel, because I was like, oh, I don't really want to get into it, and I wasn't sure of what I was gonna do, honestly. One of the reasons why I left YouTube, specifically the beauty and fashion community, which was where I was making most of my content on my other channel, was because I just was not into it anymore, and that's okay. I kind of realized that, you know, your things about you change over time. You know, what you might have liked 10 years ago might not necessarily apply to you a few years down the road. Like, I wasn't entirely into doing beauty and fashion content anymore. I think one of the main reasons that kind of contributed to that was when I found out about minimalism. In my old channel, I actually started making like minimalist content, I guess, or like that minimalist lifestyle. Wanted to kind of explore that world. When I found out about it, it was something that I was interested in. I know I could have made a pivot with the content that I was creating in my old channel, especially since I had a pretty substantial amount of subscribers in that channel, but I didn't feel right in doing so, because I know some people have signed up for content that, you know, that I was creating at the time. So I just didn't want to be like, hey guys, I'm just doing this new thing now. I mean, I know I could have, and I know some people were very successful in doing so, but I was just like, it didn't sit right with me. So I decided to create this new channel instead, to kind of do something else. That's why I quit that channel. And was I kind of sad and hesitant about doing that? Yes. But also it was kind of like a time in my life where I was just kind of like, okay, we had a good time, kind of time for me to let that go. And I had created this channel in the hopes of like being consistent and creating all these new content ideas that I had in my head. But I eventually kind of also abandoned this channel because I started to just focus on my full-time jobs. I wanted to give my new job like a fair chance, and I wanted to focus on it. I wanted to do well on it. I wanted to be like in a place where I'm like, okay, I've kind of got a handle on things and I can kind of dabble on YouTube when I can, which is what this channel is basically gonna be. I'm not gonna put myself in any schedule, and I will just be uploading when I want, and if I have something interesting to share, then I will do so. So just a quick timeline of what I was doing for work, or how I was supporting myself, just for this to kind of make sense. Was I had a corporate job right after college, but I was kind of doing YouTube on the side and blogging on the side because it was, you know, fun. And then eventually, like I think 7 years later, after working my corporate job, I decided to leave said corporate job and focus on creating content on YouTube and social media. And then 3.5 years later, I ended up back in said corporate job again, which is where I'm at right now. So I basically did the whole 9 to 5, quit my 9 to 5 and became a only for me to go back to my corporate job, and I'm actually enjoying it so much more. So I will say that I'm glad that I gave myself the chance to try out this elusive career of social media, and for as long as I did. I mean, I did what, 3.5 years. Like, I was able to support myself and you know, be able to decide like, okay, this is not for me. When I was like trying to figure out what I was gonna do for work again, because I knew I didn't want YouTube to be my main source of income anymore. It was just too much for me to do. I thrive on structure. I like to know what's expected of me, and it's not beneath me to work for someone else. I actually sometimes like that, because then I don't have to think about what I need to do. I know with like the whole hustle culture thing and like being your own boss has been kind of like glorified for the past few years, and honestly, personally for me, it's not one of the things that I prioritize in life, to have my own business kind of thing. I'm glad that I was able to try it out and find out that it wasn't for me. To me, there is freedom in knowing that you have a consistent paycheck coming in every month, you know, because when I think like sometimes people kind of like gloss over how yes, it's nice to have your own business, but there are definitely some challenges with it too as well. And one of them is that your income will not be consistent for like periods of time. And to me, I didn't like that. It was not comfortable, but you know, where you're uncomfortable, you grow kind of thing. I decided that, you know, having a corporate job is more for my personality, or like how I want to live my life. You know, we can't all be like influencers and travel vloggers at the end of the day. Like, someone has to do the mundane and like not so fun stuff. But see, for me, the mundane stuff are like what I like. And I would say that I've been fortunate that where I had gone back, they have like a pretty good work-life balance, and I actually feel like I am contributing to my workplace. It's like I had a purpose on like what I was doing with my work. I'm starting to see the reason why like it's really important to find your purpose, because that will like keep you going with whatever you're doing. Like, to me, I would rather just work for someone else right now. I mean, one day maybe I'll become a manager. That's definitely something that I am working towards on, but for right now, where I'm at in life, I am completely content with, you know, being like one of the contributors to whoever I'm working for. Interesting to me, like with the whole trend on YouTube of I don't dream of labor kind of thing, and I understand where people are kind of coming from that after watching multiple videos on it. But to me, like, YouTube is still labor. As like, yes, it's your own labor, and you know, you're not working for someone else. You're a little bit more in charge of how you want your life to be in a way. But I wouldn't say that YouTube is easy in the sense that the barrier for entry is very small, but it's still labor. Especially if you're kind of like starting out in the beginning. For your YouTube channel to be successful is kind of dependent on you. So that's like filming, editing, and like all of the social media stuff. Like, if you're starting out, if you want to keep your costs down, you have to kind of do everything by yourself. And then once you're a little bit more established, then maybe you can outsource your work to someone else. But yes, if you compare it to other professions, it is a lot easier, but it's not that simple, if that makes sense. Okay, another reason why I had quit YouTube was because it was, to be honest, very mentally, emotionally, and psychologically draining for me. It wasn't, to me, that was not like the work-life balance I wanted. Yes, I have like my own schedule and I was kind of like going on my own, but you're also putting yourself out there for people to criticize you openly sometimes. And you know, sometimes that could get to someone, which is me. You know, I'm also human. It's bad enough that I'm very critical of myself, and it's another thing for other people to be kind of chiming in and just kind of adding on to that. So I didn't want to do it anymore for that reason. And I also found myself to be stressing over very insignificant things, such as how does my feed look on Instagram. I was like, when I kind of heard myself just complaining about that, I was like, oh my god, what am I complaining about? Like, why is this even a thing? That's when I was like, all right, I need to figure something else out. When you're sitting in front of the camera and editing your videos day in and day out, you started to like nitpick certain things, and then you really just kind of get sick of yourself too. And you kind of wonder also, like, well, what am I really doing here? I was kind of like at a point where it wasn't fun for me anymore to do like these videos, and I had to take a step back and just kind of like have this talk to myself, like, okay, well, what do you want to do with this channel? This channel is not going to be my main focus. I want this to be like a side thing where I enjoy still creating and putting content out that might help someone. This channel is not about doing like a specific type of content. I know they say that when you start a YouTube channel, it's best if you have like a niche that you're focusing on. I would still consider this kind of like a side hustle in the making, but I would also be lying if I say I don't care about the money, because you know, it's nice to be compensated for like the stuff that you do. So I know like eventually this channel would be monetized at some point, and it's not something that I would be like, oh no, I don't like money. It'll be like something extra for me, but it's not something that I am focusing on like why I'm trying to grow this channel. One of the things that's pushing me to like create content again on YouTube is that it's lonely out here. So one thing that I've kind of realized is that it's so difficult to make new friends at my age. So I am 34, turning 35 in a few months, and in your 30s it's hard to make new friends, and I would love to have new friends in my life. The friends that I have, they're in a different stage in their life, and sometimes it's a little bit harder to relate to them. Not that I don't like them anymore or anything, but it's just sometimes it's nice to talk to someone about things that you're interested in. You know, they're equally interested in the same topic or same subject as you are. So I do want to foster some new friendships with this channel. How that's gonna be, because I am not on Instagram right now. So as of today, I am not back on Instagram. And it's gonna be what, like 6 months since I had deleted the app from my phone. I didn't delete my account yet, but I deleted the app. So I might have to go back on Instagram just so that I can kind of message people again and, you know, slide into my DMs kind of thing. Because I don't want to have to turn into like a dating app to find friends. Although that could work, but it's just, I don't want to do that right now. And I just don't want to clutter the dating pool when I'm not even like really looking for a relationship kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be trying YouTube out first to foster said friendships. As I've mentioned earlier, I wanted this channel to be like a place of things of I'm kind of exploring on my own. So one thing that I'm really liking is BookTube. BookTube channels has definitely helped me read a lot more this year. I've already surpassed my reading goal for the year of reading 12 books, which at the time when I had set that goal, I thought that was like a very inflated amount for me to read, because prior to those years I read like maybe 2 or 3 books a year. So I just didn't think it was doable, but it was more doable for me this year because I discovered Goodreads and the world of BookTube. So a lot of the books that I'm reading right now are very what BookTube has recommended. And I want to share some of the things that I've, you know, like learned, and the books that I'm reading and like my thoughts on it. I want to participate, you know. So BookTube, if you kind of would have me as an honorary member, that would be awesome. Thank you. Please adopt me. Anyway, so the booktubers that I found were more on the younger demographic. Kind of find booktubers who are in my age range and kind of have like a similar lifestyle where, you know, they're a young professional with like a full-time job. Have anything against like, you know, college booktubers or like people in their early 20s. I just kind of feel like sometimes that they have a little bit more time to read because they have free time in between classes, whereas when you're in your 30s and you're a full-time working professional, you really have to set some time for reading. So yep, that's where I'm kind of going with that. I'll probably do another video about my social media detox. I don't even think it's a detox at this point. It's like I also quit social media. But I wanted to also share my thoughts on that in a future video. I don't know why I was so adamant about having this as my first video back on YouTube. Not that I feel like I need to explain myself, but it's also just kind of for me to see like I want to be able to look back in this time and see where my headspace was at when I decided to come back to YouTube. But before I go, I just want to share little Lionel. Wondering where Lionel's been. He has been hanging out with me. You guys don't know who Lionel is? This is Lionel. His name's Lionel Bean. He is my super duper cute puppy. So thank you for watching and thank you for making it to the end of the video, and I hope to see you guys back soon. Sooner than later. Alrighty. Bye. Say bye, Lionel. Bye, Lionel. Kiss the camera. Kiss.